Aloha, I'm Bob Stife. I'm at Kanaha Beach Park next to the Kahului Airport. There's a large section of this park that remains undeveloped. This is the story of one man's efforts to preserve this area in its natural state. His name is Mike Perry, also known as Uncle Mike. For years now, he has been replanting native plants, trimming back overgrowth, weeding and removing rubbish. Recently, students from Maui Community College have come out to give Uncle Mike a helping hand.
Today we're sitting here at Kanaha Beach in Maui County, Hawaii, and we have a special guest, Mike Perry, who has really done an amazing job here restoring the native plant population. And so we're here to ask him some questions about his involvement in the project and a little bit of history of Kanaha Beach and learn more about the native plants.
Twofold. We want to reintroduce native plants back to this large, area. It's about 50 acres up there in Kanaha Beach Park. This large area, and make it totally all native plants and exclusively native plants. And that way, any birds or insects or animals that are part of the unique native ecosystem can return, because these are the plants they know, and these are the plants that help them to survive.
And I've hiked around Kanaha Beach with Mike, tried to keep up with him. He's 70, but he moves pretty good. And he's educating us about the different plants as we walk along, so it's really kind of continuing in the footsteps of the people who inspired you.
So basically my interest is native plants, and I just the secondary is the insects or other birds that come and use their instance. So it's important that it's protected, not only the plants, but the area that the plants live in, okay, so that it can return to it somehow, okay, close to where it was, say, thousands of years ago. So we're trying to do as possible.
So there's some pretty important wetland areas here at Kanaha. Can you tell us a story about your cleaning up of the wetland area and who's come and helped you and how that's worked for you?
The wetland areas here are really small areas, just at the the water that's underground, just about at that level. The low-lying areas, there's probably maybe about 5 acres at the most of that kind of terrain. The native Hawaiian stilt during the wintertime visits this area and uses that area. The Hawaiian duck, the Kaloa duck, uses this area. A lot of your migrating species, ducks and sanderlings, Pacific golden plover, use this area because of the wetlands. So it has significant areas where there's floods most of the winter that the birds use. The plants that were growing in there were basically invasive species like Bermuda grass, puchia, and other things. They just overwhelmed the area and made it impossible for the birds to use because these plants grow above the water level. So we have to remove all of this. It takes many, many, many years to slowly take sections of these wetland areas, remove the non-native plants, and then let the native plants come back reoccupy, then go into another section, remove that, and let the native plants occupy until after 5 or 6 years of working, say, in a 2-acre area, you finally got it under control where there's no invasive species anymore, and the native plants are just starting to take over and overwhelm. We have places where, because we've been here 10 years, that the native plants now have overwhelmed the area, that invasive species have a very difficult time coming back into the area. So it takes 10 years, 15 years to really get the native plants solidly in those areas, occupying those areas without allowing native species to reoccupy, invasive species to reoccupy.
When we were walking through the very first day we were down here, you showed us a beautiful spring with a lot of the makaloa growing there. Yeah. And this is something that was actually used to weave mats. It's a really soft, a reed or a sedge?
Yeah, it's a sedge.
Sedge, and that was used only by the ali'i.
Yes, yeah? Because it was so soft and so nice. That's what the way that the story goes, only the ali'i used it. But here at Kanaha, they only grow about 1 foot high or 2 feet high. If you, like Kanaha Pond, when we clean out areas along the water, we worked in there for 6-7 years, Kanaha Pond, the wetland. And as we clean out all the Bermuda grass and other things, the Makalua could grow up to 3 to 4 feet tall. They can grow roots and they can grow in great numbers. Once they're real sensitive to invasive stuff. The Bermuda grass grows in between them, and other types of Kuchia and other types of invasive species grow between them. So they have they struggle to maintain their presence, especially in Kanaha Pond and Ke'alepa. But here we have a little spot there that's pure. So I like to show people that the ground is really real damp when there's water in it. And here's this Makalua growing right in the middle of a beach park in a natural area.
So you mentioned that you are willing to train someone, so to speak, to recognize the native plants and the invasive plants to maintain specific areas.
Yeah. Anybody who's interested in spending some time down here, we need people to weed. Now we're talking about 35 acres, folks. We're not talking about a little plot there next to a school, a classroom or something, or a parking lot of a school or something like that. This is a massive area. So to make it work, we have to make sure that no weeds return. So that means that we need over a period of a year and more. I need about 5-6 hours a day, every day, to make sure that the weeds don't return. These people that have, like me, retired, can come down and take care of a half-acre area that has only 1 or 2 species that invade, get in there, to go through the area and see if there's anything there to pull. When we started here, 99% of the vegetation here was weeds, or not invasive species. And we're talking about 30-35 acres. Now, 99% of the vegetation here, of the 35 acres, is Hawaiian plants. A significant reverse in 10 years. But it's only the start. You can't do like a botanical garden. You really can set it up pretty fast. And over a few years, you get all these plants getting real big, and then it stabilizes, and you don't have to do much more. But this here, it takes constant protection and constant cleaning up. I pick up the rubbish every day. It just needs to be protected. It needs to be made part of just as important as a picnic table, just as important as a parking lot. That's part of the park. Just as important as keeping the water clean and keeping it safe for people. We have lifeguards for people, but we need lifeguards for all the plants that are growing in the park. So.